Hello, welcome back Minecrafters to another episode of the Minecraft Creative Workshop. Howdy, how do, and good day. Now today we're going to have a look at underwater building, or actually building our first underwater house. Now if you want to get started on one of these projects, what I'd recommend, very brief starting early Minecraft, you should go for your underwater breathing potions. Now the first things you're going to need are a brewing stand, some glass bottles of course, and a pufferfish or blowfish, whatever you prefer. You get these ingredients and mix them all together, you'll get yourself a underwater breathing potion. However, if you attach a redstone piece to this as well, it'll go from 3 minutes breathing underwater to 8 minutes breathing underwater. Now, I'm not actually using underwater breathing potions because I have a conduit at work over in my ocean biome. And what I've done to make this place completely breathable without actually using a conduit is to make a big fish tank almost. Now I'm going to use the old standard method of using sand to fill this place up and eventually get rid of the water source blocks. Now I would recommend using sponges in order to go and clear water source blocks, but because I'm actually building on a server to actually make this series, all the ocean monuments in my area have been completely ransacked, so at the moment they're unacquirable to me, which is a little bit frustrating, but there you go. What are you going to do, eh? Now what I recommend to get rid of sand blocks quickly is to place a torch underneath it, and because of gravity they will quickly just fall into the torch and break up, and that's a very useful way of just sorting it out so simply and so Let me just go ahead and gather the remaining sand blocks here, and we are almost finished. And as you can see, we have a completely breathable fish tank. Jolly good. Well, next we're going to need a way to actually light up this new breathable area without the use of a conduit, I might add, with a couple of new light sources that we get in the 1.16 update in Minecraft. So I was having a look at some of the soul campfires, the soul lanterns and the soul torches, which I believe you can acquire by gaining the normal recipe for a campfire and such as, with the addition of soul soil, which you'll get from soul sand valleys in the nether. Now let me just go ahead and get out my enchanted pickaxe with silk touch on. I really need to go and sort out an enchanted axe at some stage, because we can't be going on like this. These are now two designs that I decided to go and work with. Now I wanted to try and keep a little bit more of the nether aspect with this underwater build, but I just think the classic sort of lamppost with a little lantern on top looks so much better, really. And here we go again, just trying to go and break up a campfire with a pickaxe. I know, just whatever you do, if you're going to follow these tutorials, don't do that. Get yourself a axe, it's so much easier. I'm just going to go ahead now and duplicate the lamppost a few times over and speed up the video a little bit for you guys. So I hope you enjoy. And here we are with our first completed underwater house. Kind of like the look at this. I've been using some of the new Never Update materials such as the warp forest. I really think using these new wooden materials make it feel like something that you'd find almost naturally on the actual ocean surface. A little bit like sea, a little bit mystery. But what else I wanted to go and talk about is the fact that this isn't only going to be the first house, this is actually the starting point of the village that I want to create down here. And I want to have a whole thriving village, trading halls, you name it. But the only problem is we need to go and find ourselves some villagers. And as I remember correctly from the aquatic update, you could, on the ocean floor, you would find there were two types of mobs that you would find. Obviously the drowned, but zombie villagers. So I was wondering if there was a way that we can find these new zombie villagers, or old zombie villagers, but new place to find them. If we can go and find ourselves some, or create some golden apples and splash potion of weaknesses, and maybe we could even create a sort of prison down here to hold over our zombie villagers until we convert them into regular villagers, which will really start to generate what we can do for villages down here. And if you didn't watch the first episode, I started mentioning about raids, so I was wondering how that would work underwater. And if we could do a couple of test runs, maybe it was a case of the raids would actually spawn on the ocean surface, so they'd have to swim towards you, you could take them out easily with either a bow or a crossbow, or if they would actually spawn inside the underwater village itself, in which case, if you have ravagers, that could be quite a challenge to go and deal with. However, just in case we can't actually find any zombie villagers, which will be a little bit annoying, but it's not the end of the world, we'll just have to find ourselves a village. And because this is a survival island map, villages are quite scarce. So when I actually come and find one, I was thinking of building a massive rail track system in order to transport villagers. And when I find the village, make myself a villager breeder over there, so then we can actually generate the villagers and make things a lot more easier for ourselves. But if we could actually make a transport system through the Nether and use our sort of use of Nether portals to actually transport villagers from the overworld through the Nether and then back to our base, that would be a really quick way of getting villagers back to us. Also, if we made a Nether village, then we could just simply generate villagers in the Nether and bring them back to the overworld that way. But what I'm really interested in doing is also making a village in the end. So that way we could try raids in the overworld, the Nether, and the end, and find which one is the best way to get loot. Whichever one I find is the best way to get loot, I'm going to end up calling it Raid Town, which I think would be quite appropriate. But listen to me nattering on. Hey, ready for your thoughts and all of that? Well, I do hope that this tutorial on how to make an underwater house was very useful to you. And until I actually go ahead and make the village, I'll see you in the next video. So, adios, au revoir, and goodbye. And I'll see you in the next video, hopefully. Until then, bye guys.